Ba-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da. You know, guys, this Los Angeles weather is just treating me like crap. Between my voice, between my skin, between the dryness. Oh my God, what's going on out there? But hi, everyone. Welcome to Talks with T. I'm your host, Teona Zak. We're going to do another little thought of the day because I think I have all these like thoughts and talks with tea. And I just thought this resonates with a lot of the things I've said in the past. So I want to talk about boldness and about fear and how they entwine into one. So a lot of people have told me like, oh, like you moved out, blah, blah, blah. And like, that's great. Like, must be like so good to just like take, like you probably felt so much peace. And I think that people confuse doing the right thing will just like make you feel peace, which is the complete opposite. Just because you do what's right or you're taking the risk that you know you need to do, that does not mean you're just going to be fully like at peace with that. Like taking a risk means there will be anxiety, fear, all of that. And I want to like just explain that because I think we have this mentality like that growth and finding yourself and, you know, being the best version of you is going to constantly mean that you're just going to be at peace. That's not true. You're going to have fallbacks. You're going to have those anxiety attacks. You're going to have all these things because being bold being bold means that taking that fear because you know you should, not because you feel like it. Like your feelings are going to constantly play this. It's going to set you back. Your feelings, like you never listen to your heart, you listen to your mind because your feelings are going to cause you to steer in the wrong direction. Like I feel scared. So no, because if you're going to feel that it's going to set you back from what you're called to do. You have to feel the fear and still do what you're called to do regardless of that feeling. And there was something actually I wrote down and I'm trying to like remember it by heart, but I can't. But I remembered it now. But you have to feel the fear and take the action anyway, regardless. And I think that's exactly what I just said, but we're going to preface it in a better way because when you're bold, it doesn't mean that all of a sudden like you're not going to be scared. And confidence comes with taking that action, taking that risk. You grow as you take those, you do the things that scare you. And that's okay to feel the things that you're feeling because through that, you're constantly gaining a confidence in who you are and who you're called to be. If you're not taking risks, then you're never going to be what you're called to be. You're just going to settle for less. And that's actually just sad. I mean, I can't be that person. I always want to strive for success and strive to be the greatest version of myself. And that's scary. And people underestimate that. People just assume that when you take risks, it's like the easiest thing. And it's not. You have to be willing to move even through the fear. And it's okay to feel that. Like, I think we have this idea, like if you feel off about something or scared about something, you're not meant to do it. And it's like not true. Your feelings will steer you in the wrong direction. You have to really just move in action and what you're called to. And the feelings will go, because I've said this in the past, like your thoughts and feelings are constantly changing. How I feel today is not going to be how I feel tomorrow. I could wake up and everything could be fine, but I'm feeling like shit. And that's why you have to move past what you're feeling, because if you don't, you're going to constantly be in the same little circle, the same little bubble, and you're never going to actually move to your fullest potential. Growth means risk. It means change, and change is scary. And so you have to move past that. It's like swimming through the current. You got to swim, like just keep swimming. But I urge that because I think that a lot of people see this as, oh, that was just so easy. It was not easy. There's a lot of things that people don't see through social media, through a facade, because why would someone want to show you the struggle? Like, we're just so quick to see the successes and we're so quick to see the things that people aren't showing. So it's like self-sabotaging, or it's like this idea that, oh, they just got it so easy. Oh, they just were born with this like determination. But through determination means obstacles. And just like anything in life, you have to push past that. You have to push past the obstacle. And so being bold really doesn't mean having the strength to push past the fear and continuing to go where you know you're meant to be. I really can't stress that enough. I think when I moved out here, there was a lot, like I always say this, like a lot of people had their opinions and their comments, and I was just like, okay, that scares me. And maybe you're right, but I need to push past what I feel. Even though it scares me, I have to go beyond that feeling. Because I do believe whatever makes you happy, truly, is going to have challenges with it. And even though there's setbacks, if that's something that you're truly called for, why wouldn't you get it? When you don't get it, it's because you're not taking the risks, you're not going toward what that goal is for you. I don't think things don't happen to people because, it wasn't meant for them. Sometimes it doesn't happen because you weren't pushing for it. Because whatever's meant for you will come to you, but you got to put in that work. And if it's not meant for you, it's going to steer you in a different direction. And that's what I think people don't understand. And with that direction, you need that boldness. You need to be able, like when you see someone that's like confident, they're not confident. Like the difference between confidence and cocky is like there's this facade with cockiness and it's just like, it's arrogance. Whereas confidence comes with knowing who you are so well that you're not actually trying to prove it to people. And it's just this, I'm going to walk with full assurance that I know who I am and what I bring to the table. That's it. I don't got to prove it. Cockiness is I got to freaking show this arrogance and prove to people who I am. No. Being bold and confident and walking into it. Because when you're bold, that's where you find that confidence. And so you need to move beyond what it is that's scaring you. If you're in this place where you're scared, like you got to really ask yourself, like, what is making me scared? Is it a feeling? And if that's the case, you got to like push past that. That's your obstacle. There's a lot of feelings that I've had, even moving to Los Angeles and doing this was like, well, like, what if it doesn't work out? What if it doesn't work out? But like, this is like a common quote is like, the biggest risk you're ever going to face is the one that you didn't take. Or like the biggest regret. I worded that wrong. The biggest regret in life that you're going to have is literally the risk that you didn't take. Because the what if I did that is always going to play in your mind. It's always going to be a thing. So that what if needs to be overshadowed with boldness and taking that risk and taking the fact that you have to go beyond that. From experience, every risk that I've taken has steered me in the direction closest to what I want to be for what makes me happy. I did not want to move to LA. And I did it because I felt it that I needed to, but there was so much fears behind that. But I was like, I'm going to make a bold move and I'm going to do it because like I said, I did it. And if it doesn't work out, we're moving to the next thing. And you constantly, like that's the beauty of life is you need to have trials, errors, all of it to find where you're meant to be. But if you're not taking those risks and falling, you're just going to settle. And like the comfort zone is just so sad. Because that's not life. I think there's a period where peace and comfort is mistaken. True peace is the satisfaction of knowing that you're happy where you are. But settling is just like comfortability. It's not a peace in that. It's like you're going to constantly find these miserable traits in your life because you've chosen to be comfortable. The things that you have to accept when taking the boldness is things emotionally, physically, spiritually, whatever it is. But you have to come to terms with what that is for yourself. No one's going to do that for you. And no one's going to tell you to take those steps. You got to do it yourself. And you might look crazy to people, and that's okay because it's not their life, it's your life. And the boldness is meant for each person, and it's meant for someone for themselves. And so You can't tell someone be confident. They got to feel it on their own. Exactly with the risk. You can't tell someone to do something. I've seen a lot of people, I would have done things so differently, and that's because it's my life. And remember, life is going to humble you very quick, and you got to just focus on what it is that you're called to do, because you want to talk your talk, but there's so many things that's you're hindering from because you're not focused on your journey, your path, the risk that you need to take. And so you're just going to constantly be in the same linear line that's just like going. It's not moving. It's just like steady. And that's good for some people. That's okay. But you got to really sit there and evaluate, do I want to be comfortable or do I want the calling that I was made for? And with that calling, like, I'm sorry, I've said this in the past. When you're called for something, you're different. It's gonna call you to do things that a person that's comfortable would not do. And so you need to be bold enough to move past that fear that you're feeling and just keep going and just live it out. So that was really my spiel. I really just want to talk about that because I think that fear, especially right now, I've noticed that it really shadows people, like, and it's such a horrible trait to have because you lose the meaning of life and, like, it's the beauty of it because you're so focused on fear. When fear is your identity, that is the saddest thing. And you're fearing of what people think about you, what career, this, that, like the comfortability of it. You're fearing of like, well, I can't do that because of this. Like, I truly don't think no one is able to not do anything. Like, I think everyone could do what they're called to do, but they have to have the boldness and confidence to do it. And that's why, like, I've said this in the past, like, you can have all the talents in the world, but tenacity is really what plays a huge role, because if you can't have that in you, if you're not determined enough, determination, there's boldness in that. Like, every trait like that, you need to have risk and boldness into you. So you're not getting anywhere with your talents if you're not going to have that. You need to sit down and, like, again, these are things, like, it's hard. It's like you got to challenge yourself. You got to really be vulnerable with yourself. What do you want for your life? And if list those things, and if those things, like, what is steering me into that way? What am I doing wrong? What am I not being steered in? And if that, and then be like, what do I have to do? And if there's risks in that, take them, because then you're always constantly just gonna be like playing the same game. And it's like, there's so much to life that people don't really realize, and it's because they're holding back because of fears and doubts and other things that they're facing. And it's like sad because there's so much that you're able to do with the boldness if you just put it in there. I think I've said this before, but I'm going to repeat it. But you have to feel the fear and take it anyway. Bold people do what they know they should do, not what they feel like doing. Some of the risks that you're going to want, I didn't feel like coming to Los Angeles. I didn't feel like doing that. But I knew I had to. I knew that I should. And so I did that, and everything was going into place. Like, sometimes the things that you want to do isn't something, the things that you should do are not the things that you want to do, but you have to continue to grow. And so until you face that, like, until you come to terms with that, you're going to be comfortable in the same situation that you are now. So feel what you feel. I'm not saying, like, don't feel it, but then really think and evaluate, what do I have to do? There's a difference between want and need, and you have to really just face those. So really take into account, to be bold, you have to move past towards your feelings. So thank you so much. That was Talks with T. Till next time, I'm your host, Teona Zak.